Happy Monday. Today, on this February 5th, 2024, I'm so proud to bring on our next guest on episode 17 to join us in TT's Clubhouse to give a little recap in the community. So please welcome my boy, former Storm, all-time legend, Matt Acosta.
Hey, TT. Appreciate you having me, TT.
Wow.
Good to see you, baby.
Nice to see you too, bro.
It's good to see that smile.
Well, I was just reminded, man, just right now, all that matters is what's in front of me.
That's right.
And I'm thankful that right now it's going to be you and I just catching up and getting a chance to kind of just reminisce on a little bit about our little experiences and memories and just things that we got to encounter through our time together. I mean, I believe we did 2 years together, right?
Yeah, like 1.5, 2.
My bad, 1.5, 1.5.
All good, all good.
I remember the first time I met you, and it came at a point where I was overwhelmed. Season just began. I think it was before the season started. There was about 4 or 5 of you guys who were not supposed to be there, but we're so excited to see the field
Yeah,
and
sure.
check out your new home. And I remember there was like an immediate, I don't know, like connection that we shared.
For sure. It's
And
just
there was,
energy, man. Good people, good energy.
I mean, I remember the topic, the topic that we shared regarding our mental health. Remember that?
Yep.
And like I feel like at that point we committed to each other to at least like do our part. Hey, no matter what happens in our life, we're going to do our part to make this world a better place.
Yeah, I remember just like the first conversation, just like a little background for those who don't know me and T, but more so me. Like, I went to USC. I actually went there because USC was playing a regional there. And I was like, man, like this is such a beautiful park. It was like one of my first times there, and believe it or not, I ended up playing there, and it was awesome. And then kind of like back to our encounter, talking about mental health and just the people that we could do and the people that we could touch. It was one of the things that I told you, like while I'm here, or however long I'm at, the diamond, I want to touch as many lives as possible with you and through you. So 2.5 or 3 years, whatever it is, 4 years later, you and I are still very close and doing God's work by touching lives. So yeah, it's been a good time.
I mean, most relationships are consistent. People touch base with each other every day. Maybe
Yeah.
have like that, that touch here, touch there moment. I don't know if it's because of the industry we grew up in or our lifestyles, but my norm for the last 21 years has been, man, whenever we talk, at least you and I and the tight knit people that I work with or closely work with, we can pick off like it was yesterday, even though we haven't spoke for almost a year.
Yep. That's exactly what I told you today when you told me you wanted me on the podcast. I was like, man, like no matter where life takes me, no matter where life takes you, no matter the timing of day, it's like we never missed a beat. And it's one of those things where some friendships you kind of need to keep tabs, but it's one of those things where we are men of God and men of good head on our shoulders. And it's kind of one of those things where we always know we're going to do well. And it's like whenever I talk to you, it's always usually something really, really good. Or sometimes it could be really, really bad. But it's one of those things where I always know you have my back. And it's a really cool friendship that it's not like I got to keep tabs on you and check in all the time because we're such good friends and we're close that it's like you said, like we never skipped a beat.
Well, like the foundation set, with us,
Yeah.
we come from a place of, I mean, we're talking about our privilege, like we both have wonderful parents in our lives that have shaped us and helped us maneuver through our hardships and through our obstacles that we go through. And, and that's another thing I get to thank you for because I get to meet and see and be a part of your family. And,
Oh,
your
yeah.
bro, like your dad's like my big brother, like it's this, it's very unique because, I really feel like there's a special connection with every one of the guys that I get to be a part of. And, you and your career, which I think has been remarkable. And I think it's just the beginning of your professional career as far as who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Um, has helped a lot of people already, you know. And I know in our time in Lake Elsinore, we were able to do some cool things, you know, outside of the diamond to give back to the underserved communities.
Yeah.
I remember I had a high school. I was like, dude, Matt, I was like, come serve with me, bro. Like, I have this opportunity for you to give back to the kids, resource. You're like, what are you talking about? I got a game in like 4 hours, and you didn't blink an eye. You know, you didn't bat an eye. You didn't hesitate. You said what time and where, and you showed up. And do you remember that day when you talked to
Oh,
this?
for sure. That's why I was like, I don't think I said like I have a game. I was like, just tell me what time and where. I'll get dressed and I'm ready to go. Just because I believe that's why God put me on this earth, man, to touch people, especially student athlete mental health right now is at an all-time high. And that's why I'm actually going back to school to get my master's in counseling with a credential to really do God's work and just obviously all kids, especially, but really the student athletes that kind of like myself, I initially had it all. I had a great parents, great family. I know I'm not the best looking, but it is what it is. Like good looking, went to a good school. I had it all. And it's okay to have struggles and it's okay to be down, especially like for the people who just leave home for the first time. I know right now with social media, some parents can be tough. And I mean tough by comparing like their kid to little Johnny. And it's nice to know, or for me, I just want to be that outlet that kids want to know they can have. And that's where, again, back to that high school story before the game, it was one of those things where I wish I knew the information I knew at that age. Like I told the kids there who were anywhere from 15 to 18 years old, it was a high school program. I was like, if I knew the information I knew at your guys' age, man, I would utilize it. You know me, I'm really big on mentoring. And that's where I really feel God is pushing me. And that's where I feel my purpose is helping kids and helping just young adults really who can kind of get lost along their way.
Well, you know, I'm gonna get behind that all day. You know,
Yep. Strike out for a cause, baby. Go check it out if you haven't.
strike out for a cause.
Sir,
Yeah,
first,
I'm
always.
proud of that, bro. I'm proud of that. I'm thankful you said that. You know, it is our one of our 501(c)(3) nonprofits that we've had
Yep.
for the last 6 years, where you know we give back to underserved communities. We focus on military families or
Yep.
foster care kids, anybody that can use a outlet in a sense or escape. And for me, it's been about sports. You know, working in sports, not even playing the dang game. Um, I feel kind of like I have a responsibility to at least use that as a vehicle as well to serve in my own way. And strike out for a cause is my little baby, and I'm glad that you said
Sure.
that because we're gonna be doing some big things this year, man. Big things.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna be a part of it. Don't even trip. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Well, good. So like I don't know what you're quite on as far as your new career path. I know when we were talking while you're playing, your focus and your goals has always been about what you could do on your any given day or your opportunity. I
Yeah,
mean, you balled out, bro. I mean, I know your numbers don't lie, and there's things that I've saw you do that not many people could do in a game or say they've done,
for
as
sure.
far as walk off home runs or great diving plays, or I think you were on ESPN top 10 at one point.
Yep. Yep.
um,
But
what
yeah, go
what
for it.
what's in today's to-do list as far as like your everyday, and what do you miss most about when you played?
So I want to first thank the Padres organization. I'm gonna go for a little rant with my ADHD self, but I just want to thank the Padres again, man. I can't complain. Although I didn't make it to where I wanted to go, it's all in God's plan and His timing. I was able to make the connections I needed to, like yourself. And again, man, I was top. I was part of that 1%. I got to play professional baseball. Did I make it where little 9-year-old Matthew Acosta wanted to make it? No, but I still think to this day, if I went back in time and told him how far I went, he'd be proud. And I think a lot of people, whether it's student athletes themselves, parents, kids, they need to take a step back and realize like how far they've come. And a lot of people like don't even get to finish or play high school sports. So going to college and playing and then playing in the minors, maybe not even making it, but even if you do make it, like it's such a big accomplishment, and I just want to thank the Padres organization for that, and then just tell people that. For myself, right now, I am an assistant director at the Camp Transformation Center, where I work with people and transforming them back to where they want to get to with health and fitness. So through nutrition plans, through working out, whatever it may be, I kind of get them back to where they want to get to. And then I'm also going back to school, like I said earlier, Concordia. So let's go, getting my master's. And then what am I going to miss most about baseball? I'm not sure yet. I just decided to be done in September. I felt that that's what God put on my heart. I prayed long and hard about it, and I came to that decision just because I felt it was time to start that life. And again, I'm about to go for a little rant, so just buckle up with me. It's so funny how in baseball, like I don't remember the last time I was home for a summer, truly. I think I might have been like 10 years old, like 11, 12, 13, you're all like high school, you go to JOs, Arizona, all these other states to play baseball. Obviously college, you go play summer ball at different places. And then in pro ball, that's when your season is. You go to spring training and then you play all summer. And I just think it's funny how God works, that the career path I want to do, not only like am I going to be influencing a generation, like the generations to come, and letting them know like it's okay to have mental health issues, like you have a support system, but being able to counsel, like I'll have the rest of my summers for the rest of my life off. And I just think how it's funny how like I would always not complain, but I would always miss those summers because like you said, I'm super family oriented, and that's where a lot of my core memories of my childhood are, in the summers. And it's funny how the turntables turn, and now I get to realize that I get to spend the summers with my family again, and God willing, with the family I create. But what I'll miss about baseball, I think, is just going to be the team aspect, man. Like getting together as a group, going towards the same goal. Although at times, like baseball can be a selfish game at the end of the day, especially playoff baseball. Like that's why playoff baseball is one of the most watched things in all of sports. Just the connections you make with teammates, like I've made lifelong friendships with a bunch of teammates that I met through the Padres, and I'm grateful for that. I think that'll be the biggest thing. Obviously, playing, you're gonna miss it. Luckily in my last game, I had a good game, so at least I walked away on a high note. But yeah, man, you're gonna miss the diving catches, the ESPN top tens. But God willing, I'll have my kids to watch that through again, and we'll see what happens, but it hasn't hit me yet. I'm sure I'll miss it, but I think I'm on to bigger and better things, which is impacting lives. So
Love that. I mean, the outlook alone is positive and enriching, and it's again like utilizing your resources to serve others. And I know that you left me 2021. What year was you in Lake Elsinore?
I was there in 2019, and then I started like a rehab assignment there because I got hurt in Arizona, and then I left after like a month in 2021, I think. I
You
believe.
and you finished that year in Double A,
Yeah, in San Antonio, yeah.
San Antonio, and then I think you went off and played overseas, and you went to play in Mexico.
Played in Mexico this last year, yeah. So I've bounced around, and it's been
How
fun.
was how is that? I have a couple of friends that are playing, and like I'm learning more about that, and like I'm actually exploring like how we can tap into that market and like serve within that community as far as our athletes going overseas and serving as well. And
For
how was
sure.
that experience for you?
I just want to tell the people out there, like Mexico's no joke. Like I remember my first couple games, I was playing like Didi Gregorius, like Mike Montgomery, Hector Santiago, like good former big leaguers who've won World Series, been all stars. Like that's just the way the world's going in baseball. Like baseball's a tough sport, man. Like so that's where again with the kids I'm trying to reach out to, or if they hear me, like don't get discouraged. Baseball's a tough sport. But Mexico's a blast. I made a bunch of friends out there, friends that like live out here in LA and Texas, and it was a lot of good competition out there. I really hope that it gets the scouting it deserves now, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely got to see a little different parts of the world, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. Mexico was a good time for me. Really, I really found myself there just because leaving home for the first time, like in a foreign country, I can get away with some Spanish, but having to like have that barrier was a little bit different. But it was a lot of fun. The travel was cool. Got to see, like I said, beautiful places, beautiful parks. Mexico City is awesome. Where I played in Saltillo was like an hour away from Monterrey, which is really fun. But overall, like I definitely see that place getting more and more popular just because baseball is getting harder and harder, man. And that's a big thing I'm sure we'll talk about. Like baseball's getting harder and harder, so kids don't get discouraged. But yeah.
Well, so tell me why is baseball getting so hard? Like from my perspective, it's the same sport with the same ball. Might be a little bit different rules, but it's intended for competitive reasons. Why is baseball getting harder for
I'm
today's
gonna
youth?
give you both sides. And I know you'll respect this and love this, and I'm hoping the audience does too. This is gonna sound so bad. As much as I love baseball, man, I would not want my kid to play it unless I know that they will listen. It's one of those things where I remember I think I started travel ball at like 9 to 10 years old. Where like now it's starting at 6. It's like, dude, like I can't remember. Not only like our kids these days, iPad kids, but man, they're crazy travel ball kids. But I just think like every sport, I think every sport's going not in a crazy drastic starting too early phase, but I just feel like kids are playing too early, in my opinion. But when they play early, that's how you get good. And especially like what's nice is like kind of like myself, like if I did have a son that wanted to play baseball, obviously, God willing, I know he'll listen to me. But like knowing what I know now, whether it's nutrition, stretching prior to and after playing, recovery, lifting, whatever it may be, it's just like, man, like all that now makes such a big difference. And that's where like the level of competition takes a huge step up. And all the arm program, all the whatever it may be, like having like the iPad and breaking down swings, we didn't have that. Like that, we were just the start of it, and now it's like the norm. TrackMan, all the what's the one that we would have on top, like Hawkeye, all that stuff. It's the norm now, and I remember like Mike Trout was talking about it, like the average velo. He's talking to I think Todd Frazier. The average velo back in the day was 94. Like 94, you're gonna get lucky to be a starter. 94 is the new high school average. Like if you're not
Right.
pumping 96, 97 in high school, like it's like, oh, okay, like that's meat. And it's so crazy to me that um I think that's why like baseball is just getting so hard in a good way because people just know how to train their kids. They know where to take them. They know a lot of people are doing the right steps into learning it, but at what cost? And I'm not saying
Mm.
I didn't enjoy my time playing baseball. I did. Like I said, made so many friends, made so many connections like yourself, but at what cost in the side of mental health? Like, especially men. Men have a higher suicide rate than women right now. And I wonder why. Like, me, myself, personally, like, I know I'm hard on myself. Like, I love my dad. He was hard on me. And it's one of those things where I took it to a level some people can't. And that's where it's like, at what risk do you want to take? And that's where you got to just kind of sit down with your kid and talk to him. That's where I feel like a lot of parents lack. Like, for example, I had to take a placement test. That's why I haven't really been on the pod in a while. But my mom wrote me a note and put it on my backpack before I left for work. And it said, like, good luck on your test. I might tear up. It said, good luck on your test. I just want you to know, like, I'm proud of you. Like, if you believe it, you can achieve it. And I'm 25 years old. And I teared up when I read it because, man, like, I didn't hear that, not enough, but a lot growing up. But even hearing it now at 25 years old, I was like, man, like that gave me the confidence to go and pass my test. And I feel like in today's age, parents talk about money and taking my kids here, taking my kids there, where let's be proud of going 2 for 4. Let's be proud of going 1 for 3. Like you would be surprised of what little reassurance you give your kid, no matter the age.
Wow, that's deep, bro. I mean, That sounds like a whole lot of real life, explored or magnified through baseball, but that's the reality, man. Like I'm a fan of baseball. I get a chance to join these communities, and I cringe when I hear like and I see a lot of the coaches and parents critique or like you said, kind of like get on these younger kids and not kind of reassure them or
Yeah.
bring uplifting messages in a sense when I mean, dude, like who is it?
Baseball lasts so long, man. Like Derek Jeter's done. Derek Jeter played 20 years. And how old is he now? Maybe like I'll just throw it like he's 50. He has from 50 until whenever he dies. Like you could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are you gonna do when it's done? Baseball is a blink of an eye.
How do we? So I don't play baseball, and I want to.
No, for sure, but I'm like you've been around such great people. Like you've been around Hoffman, you've been around those guys where it's like, man, like it goes by quick. And I know I didn't play as long as those guys or I didn't reach the level that they did, but man, it goes quick. Like I still played since I was 5 years old. I still played 20 years and it's gone. It's one of those things where it's like not the now what, but it's in the sense like now what can I do to impact lives? Like what can I do to either make for me, like what can I do to make God proud? What can I do to make my parents proud? What can I do to make my kids one day proud? Like what can I do to leave a legacy behind? And I know one of the points of conversation you and I always talked about was my best friend passing away. And I was like, what can I do to make him proud, knowing that it's almost in a sense like I have to carry his influence with me as well. Like I want to do double the influence because he's no longer with me. Like what's next? There's always going to be a what's next. Of course you want to be where your feet are. And that's something I had to learn. And that's something that the audience needs to learn. It's like, be present at where your feet are. And I heard this actually in a sermon on Sunday. It's like, no matter what you have to do, be where your feet are, but always continuing to move forward. If it's crawling, if it's walking, if it's sprinting, just move forward. Like baseball's going to end. It's going to end. I'm telling you right now, like for all the audience, it's going to end. It's going to end tomorrow. You can have a car accident and get paralyzed. You could go to the Hall of Fame. It's going to end at some point. Just have an idea in the back of your mind. Like your purpose for me and my faith, like your purpose is seated in you and it starts to sprout little by little as you make your connections, as you meet people, as you have tough conversations. You and I have had millions of conversations going back to God dang, what is it? The Econolodge, like walking to the Econolodge, whatever it may be, having those tough conversations, like you realize slowly, like, okay, like when I'm done with baseball, this is what I want to do. And that's something, I've always wanted to do was help younger kids. Like that's where, man, baseball goes by quick. It's like the Ferris Bueller quote, like life comes at you fast. If you don't take a look every once in a while, you'll miss it.
Well, that's kind of where I'm like, so personally speaking, this translating this to non-baseball people listening,
Yep,
working a regular job,
for sure.
I work a regular job where I'm around a lot of successful, driven, self-motivated people that have their own goals and their own story to tell.
Yep.
And it's empowering to, I want to say, sense the energy or the, influence that I'm around, just like I was in a locker room.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. It's kind of eerie similar, but like on different levels because, everyone has like that energy in them, as far as what they possess or what they can bring to the table.
You have to. You have to.
And a lot of industries, I believe, are trying to model how they, operate as an organization as teams do, as
Yeah.
professional teams do. And it's kind of it's eye-opening because, working within professional baseball, you see it different. You see it from the inside out. And there's little things that we just don't measure enough. I mean, I'd like to compare it to like whether you like him or not, that Draymond Green player that you have to have on your team.
Got to have that grit for sure and that bond. T, I want to tell you something. Like, so I
Please.
heard this at church, and for the audience, like, if you're not religious, don't take it. Like, take it in a way. I'm gonna say it in a different term, or like I'll say it the way the church said it, and then take it in the way you can act, like put it to your life. If someone met, like, if I was the only Christian you met, would God be proud of how I represent him? If the Padre, like if a little kid met me at the time I was playing for the San Diego Padres, would that kid want to be a professional baseball player? If I'm a business owner and you met me, would you want to own your own business? Like, that's how you have to attack life each and every day. Be the best at what you do. And if you were to be the only person of that industry, for me, like, my biggest thing is like my faith. Like, if I'm the only Christian this person meets today or at all in their life, would God, or would I be proud of myself on how I represented myself? So, like, for you, for like an example for you, like, remember when Bobby, my boy Bobby, shout out to Bobby, who is another clubby. When Bobby first met you, you obviously did a really good job because he later on became a clubby as well. For like you're a nonprofit business owner. One day I want to start my own nonprofit business because of you. Like, you did such a good job of representing yourself, like XYZ. I have a little cousin who looks up to me, wants to play professional baseball because of how I carried myself. Like, be the best version of yourself each and every day. Like, you have to know, the best way to put it is like I said, be the best version of yourself each and every day. I can't, like, that was one thing about you and I to this day about how we're so close. It's, I knew exactly what tea I was going to get. Like, by tea means Terrence, not like tea you drink or tea like drama, but like I knew exactly which Terrence I was going to get each and every day. And if I didn't get that Terrence, I did a good job about asking, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you good? Are you okay? Like, you're not the smiley, giggly tea that you usually are. And that's where I think we kind of like circle back to, like, be the best business owner, be the best baseball player, be the best brother, like, whatever it may be that best version of that today, each and every day. Because you never know when your last day is, and you never know if that's the only person that will meet whatever your profession is.
Love it. Well, okay, let's give another scenario. Like, a lot of kids out there are listening. They're hearing it. They understand it. They comprehend it, but they feel alone. You know, you're in an environment. You go to school for the first time. You join a new little league team. You don't have any friends. How do you put yourself out there without putting yourself out there?
Um, I think for me, what's nice about like baseball is, like, at the end of the day, it's always going to be a team sport, team bonding. Like, you can always be the one to like volunteer for team bonding. Um, it's a good question. I think, like, whenever I've found a new church recently, and like I went to like the youth group nights, and it was something like I wasn't comfortable with. It was something like I just, I was like, you know what, like, walk by faith, not by sight. It's just go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? You really, like, kids out there, whoever's out there, like, whether if it's like relationships, friendships, connections, like with your team, like, what do you have to lose? As long as like you go at it straight and narrow, like, don't go at people sideways, of course, but what do you have to lose? Like, for me, my biggest thing, again, like, I'm sorry if, like, I'm not trying to like come off as a Jesus freak or anything, but like at the end of the day, there's only going to be one person with me on Judgment Day, and that's God. So who's going to judge me? Like, put your best foot forward, introduce yourself however once you like, whoever you are, carry that with you and introduce yourself that way. For the people that know me, like, I'm happy I'm on this podcast, especially former teammates watch it, because I feel like they didn't really get to know me just because at the baseball field, I was all business. And it sucks that a lot of them didn't get to know me outside of it. And I wish they did, but that was on me. I could have made that step. But because I was so baseball driven, I never put myself out there. Do I regret it? A little bit? Sure. But at the end of the day, like, I got to where I got to because of being so focused. But looking back at it now, I wish I would have enjoyed it a little bit more by asking guys to go get a drink, asking guys to like come over and play video games, because I know that's a big thing for you kids right now. So there's things like that, like anything, man. Like, you're never alone because there's someone else going through exactly what you're going through, no matter what. I can guarantee it.
Well, that's the message too. I want to continue to carry on as far as these kids, young men, young women, parents, adults, coworkers, whomever, is like, everyone at some point has that pit in their heart, that stomach, just kind of doubt or insecurity, or confusion. And
And
I
that's
always think,
normal. That's normal, everyone. Just so you guys know, like that's normal. You're gonna have trials and difficulties, and that's okay. Like no one's life is perfect. As much as you want to believe, like what you see on social media, like no one's life is perfect. I heard a quote: "The happiest guy in the room, you should ask him how he's doing, because I guarantee you he's not doing that well as well as you think." And that was like a big thing for me. Like, and I'm sure with you too, T, you're always the happiest guy in the room because like a lot of people rely on you to fill up their cups, but sometimes your cup is empty, and that's okay.
empty, bro. Empty.
I feel that, but like it takes a lot of social awareness and maturity because I was the same way. I have taken kind of a step back with my family a little bit just because like we're all getting older, man. Like I have desires and dreams to start my own family one day, and I can't fill up everyone's cup and leave me on empty all the time. Of course, I'm going to still do it just because that's who I am. You know me. Like, I'm always going to care about my family, my friends. You, like I said, although we never talk, I always, probably at least once every 2 months, I check in with you. Yo, you good? How's the family? How the kids? How's the wifey? Everyone good? Cool. You gotta check in. Like, that's another thing. Life's too short. Check on the people you care about. Grudges, forgive. Like, forgiven people, forgive people, everyone. So that's a big thing I learned. Like, grudges aren't worth it. Like, again, I lost my best friend in an instant. Like, I was the last person he saw alive. Like, life can flash before you. Phones work both ways. Bury the hatchet with anyone just because you never know what can come out of it. Um, yeah, sorry, T. Jeez, I'm going everywhere, but
No, no. I mean,
very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about mental health, man. Like, it's not something to be taken lightly, and I know a lot of people can take it lightly, but once you help people and once you help someone find their way back, man, there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling. Truly. Like I would rather help someone find themselves than I think I would rather help people find themselves than make it to the bigs.
you
Yep.
you have a calling, bro, and you know it.
Oh, for sure.
I remember, so kind of relating with you losing a close one. I lost a best friend to suicide. Um, and
Yep.
and like I remember I'd be on the couch. I was like, dude, this is unreal. And I saw like a commercial for a mental health like call line or something. And
Yeah.
I called it. I just cold called it. I was like, let me call this company. I was like, hey, my friend just committed suicide. Like, I'm okay. I just feel like I need to do something about this, to like do my part to raise awareness about getting help.
Yep.
And long story short, that's why we wore those jerseys. Remember
Yep.
the
Yep.
mental health awareness night we
Yeah.
did?
With the green, yeah.
The lime green and black jerseys were they were like a locker room hit, because everybody in that locker room knew what that meant as far as like seeing it in your locker, like why are these jerseys here? And then the minute it was explained was the minute that you guys took it over. And
Yeah.
I was proud of every single one of you guys that took ownership of that message and again
Yep.
using your own platform to do your part because it
Yep.
really starts with us as far as what can we do about it opposed to keep judging others or pointing fingers or just giving excuses for why things are not better opposed to what we're doing to make it better. And I'm glad that you're on this journey alongside myself and others who just wanted to serve in their own way, despite how it looks because like you said, like at the end of the day, you're gonna be with one person, and I feel quite honestly the same. Where I'm gonna be able to be proud of what I said I was gonna do, and with the people I do it with.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
I share a lot of things on social media, like especially like about my faith. Shout out to Monte, the chapel of like
Yeah.
that's the storm. I still talk to him each and every day. He sends me devotions each and every day. I post them on my social media each and every day. And what's super cool, T, is that people respond to me that I never would have thought read them straight up.
Nice,
And I'm like,
nice.
wow, like it's super cool to know this touched this person. Like maybe it touched someone and they didn't respond to me. I don't care. Like as long as I can touch and like help one person, that's all I care about. You never know what someone's going through. That's why, like, for kids out there, the audience, like, I don't know your ages, but it's so funny how the older you get, the cliches become more and more true. Like, treat people how you want to be treated, never judge a book
Yeah.
by its cover. It's really funny how you learn those are really, really true as you get older, and it's something you need to live by. And like back to what you were saying about mental health and those jerseys, especially for young men, like it's okay to talk about your feelings and whatever it is. Like, I'll admit it, like I'm in therapy right now, and the awareness, the emotional maturity that therapy has helped me with has given me leaps and bounds for people my age. I believe, honestly, like men my age, like I feel I'm really socially aware. I'm really emotionally mature because of the lessons I've had in therapy, the hard conversations I've had to learn, the lessons I've learned looking back at my childhood, looking back at my career, looking back at my time as even a student. It's been super beneficial, and I don't want people to think like, oh, like I'm a guy, I can't do it. Like, I'm a guy, I'm not allowed to talk about my feelings. Like, those times are done. They really are. Like, your health, your mental health is way more important than trying to impress your boss, your coworker, your a girl, whatever it may be. Like, you're allowed to have feelings, and that's okay because, again, like I said, men's mental health is way too high right now, and that's not okay. Like, I'm not okay with that, and that's where I'm doing my part, and I know you're doing your part.
Yeah, I mean, I love you for that, bro. Because it is okay not to be okay, and we joke around about it because of how cliche it sounds, and I own it. You know, the cornier the better for me. You know, like the
Yep.
cheesier the better because it just means that it's just a reminder of us all. Because whether we hear from a social media influencer or one of our parents or a friend, it's needed to be reminded. And I quite honestly love the reminders. You know, every day I'm reminded of something that I know I should be doing, or reminded of something that I should be sharing more of. And it's
Yep.
okay. You know, people are so. I mean, I myself, I get so, I don't know, bent out of shape so easily if I don't hear what
Yep.
I want when I want, or get what I want when I want. And it throws me off because when I'm able to like see that, I'm like, that's not me, man. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
let's just be thankful for what we got and be present, like we talked about, and enjoy the
Exactly.
obstacles. Like, I'm really having a fun time with my new career, my new job, and I don't even know what I'm really doing. It's just a challenge, you know, and it makes me better, I believe, as far as like who I need to be tomorrow. You know, because you have to change your mindset every day when you wake up, as far as what you're going to take on, in my opinion. And I'm honestly like excited for what the day brings me because I'm going to struggle, and that's something that we don't sometimes prepare ourselves enough to do enough of.
Yeah. I think for me, like, just because I'm a man of faith, like, um, it's one of those things. So going back to what you said, like, one thing that I love that I heard in a sermon recently was like, um, don't share the God you think you know, share the God you already know. Meaning, like, share the testimony that you have, not like, don't share the testimony you want.
Tight.
So when I tell people, like, I share my testimony of what I've already been through, my best friends lost, parents who came here from Cuba, having like a great but hard childhood, like being hard on myself through baseball, being a student athlete, playing for the Padres, learning what I've learned, like, and how God has been with me every step of the way, or my parents have been there every step of the way, my brothers have been there every step of the way, my aunt, my grandparents, whatever it may be. Like, share the testimony, share your story right now. Don't share where you want to get to, because when you share where you've already been, it could touch someone who's right there right now, right? Everybody has
Yes.
dreams, everybody wants to go places, but um God, it's in a country song, but like, don't forget where you look when you look where you want to go, don't forget where you've already been. And that's my biggest thing is family, like SC, my high school, Padres, like all the steps with the Padres, like all my host families along the way through college, all my host families in pro ball, like so many lives that have touched me and I'm hoping like I've touched them. Like I still talk to a lot of my host families. I play video games with my host brothers. Like it's awesome. And sharing, like I said, share your testimony of today. Don't share your testimony of tomorrow. Share where you've already been. Because the biggest thing, like for me, I heard it at it was called the Live Surge event, where it was a bunch of Christian motivational speakers. Like the best way to touch someone, meaning like where they're coming from, is that if you're a person who's already been there. So for myself, like talking to those high school kids, just like I said, like especially at that time, I think I was only 21 or 22. I
Uh-huh.
was there 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it was super, super quick. And I was like, guys, I was literally here watching SC at the time. Like I was literally right where you guys are less than 4 years ago. It goes quick. Like, let me share my testimony. And I did. I remember you were in the stands and just sharing your testimony, man. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that you could do. Share your, and if you don't want to hear the word testimony, share your story, share your traumas, share your ups and downs. Like, let people know, like you said, like it's okay to not be okay.
Shout out Linfield Christian. They were that school that you got to go visit. I still
Yep.
talk with their coach Owsley because Owsley, I went to college with him actually. We're going to be doing some camps this year, and
Cool.
we have some things lined up. I'll share with you off screen, obviously, include you and invite you, but we'd love to have you a part of that. It's going
Sure.
to be a wonderful lineup of athletes that you've already played with in your career. We'll continue to root on in their careers. But I'm excited for our continued journey to serve in our own way, using sports as a platform to bring people together.
Yep.
Um, the one aspect that I don't want to lose sight on is education, like you mentioned, whether it be mental education or, just math, history, family, your physical education. It all matters, and we want
Sure.
to continue to share the resources that we have to continue to empower tomorrow's future and leading the game in the way it needs to be leading because the game is evolving every day. People
Life,
are
life's evolving, not just the game. And that's where we'll talk a little bit more off screen, but man, like I want to create an app called Life After the Game. So lag. And
hey,
it's for people who are transitioning after their sport. It's hard, man. Like that's where I was. It's hard going from 1000% structure, waking up for spring training, waking up at 6, going to practice, like or eating or like changing, eating, changing again for lift, going to practice, coming back for lunch, going to a game, and then like obviously like when we're at the diamond, it's wake up, have breakfast, get to the field by 11, like change BP, blah, 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 blah. Like going from structure to nothing, man, it's tough and you can lose yourself. And I did for a little bit. I'll admit it. Like it was tough lacking that structure. And I want to create a platform where former athletes who own businesses or former athletes who have been there can guide and help those former either student athletes or professional athletes. And that's where I feel instead of helping them lose themselves, you help them find their new self.
you heard it first. Lag,
Lag,
love
baby,
it.
life after the
Lag
game.
after the game, and you know what? One thing, I mean, again, the time is everything. A lot of the similarities are with the military. It is like
Yeah.
whether it plays or not, it just does. A lot of veterans are identifying with the similarities that the pro athletes are with the transition word.
Yep.
Transition is not just from a game, like you mentioned, it's also from a career, where it consumes you and there's sacrifice involved, right? With baseball, about missing your family time. The same could be said about the military that we have to continue to bring together, especially as you continue to like to advocate using your platform and just how inspirational you are and impactful you are because you played a sport that a lot of people just haven't played at that level. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
like again, like super blessed, super lucky to play. But yeah, like I'd rather have those people you like transition is not that word shouldn't be scary. Hearing, oh, like my career's over, like I'm done playing, I don't know where to go. Like I had someone tell me, like, oh, like you're transitioning. I was like, oh, I was like, I like
Yikes.
I was like, I'm transitioning. Like, where am I gonna go next? Not, oh, like I'm done playing, or oh, like woe is me, like this is over. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, no, like I'm in my transition period. Like I'm finding myself. And that's where like therapy helped me a lot. Shout out to my therapist. Shout out to like my faith, my parents. Like it's tough, man. Like lacking structure. And again, like everyone's career will come to an end, and you're gonna lack that waking up, that diet, that lift, that practice, whatever it may be. Like it's different. And it's again, like don't be scared of that word transition. Like use it and embrace it. That's like one of the biggest things, kind of like you and I always talk about, like embrace where your feet are. Like the biggest saying I've been using is like God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Like what, like before we jumped on screen, like what'd you ask me? You're like, oh, like how's your day going? Like it's another day above ground. It's another day to change a life.
Let's go.
That's right, baby.
Oh, Matt, hey. Oh, wow. Terrence, we are loving you.
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Let's go. Hi, Mom.
But yeah, so again, I don't know if we're done, T, but if you want to keep going, I'm more than welcome to keep going. I know we've already kind of hit our time limit, but that's what happens when you have good, deep conversations.
Well, I think there's going to be a couple of different segments between segments where maybe we can focus on maybe how we build off some of these topics we talked about. You know, you mentioned I think some very great ideas regarding, potential apps or
Website,
structures.
yeah.
I know I have some things going on that I'm going to need your help with.
Yep.
And it has
That's
a lot to do
with, man. Like, ask for help. People are scared to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help.
I mean,
Do it before it's too late. Do it before it's too late, because people like me are eager to jump to help. And that's something I've learned in my faith. It's like, be more willing. Be more willing. Don't think of the negative. Like, just be more willing. You never know what can come from it. Be more willing to do the things that, for me, like the things that God wants me to do. Like, be more willing to be obedient. It's okay to sacrifice a couple things, because you never know what comes out of it.
Let's keep that energy right there, because I'm so fired up for Tuesday. You can't even believe it, bro. I'm so fired up for my Tuesday. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, and it's going to be great.
Good. Be your best self each and every day, baby.
What's that?
Just be your best self each and every day. It's all you can do.
So blessed to be able to share this and be reminded of all these wonderful things that we shared. I mean, the people, the strangers, the family members, the whole ambiance that we get to just carry with us, through our time, man. I'm so thankful for it. Like, we haven't said enough yet. We're going to continue this conversation. We're going to do this again. And let's continue to serve in our own way. And I'm thankful for you and your family.
I'm blessed and thankful that God put you in my path. And I heard something. It's like, God doesn't drop people in your path. He presents you with them, and it's your own choice and your own free will to do what you please with it. And I'm very happy I made that choice in sparking a deep conversation with you, because look where we are today.
Hey, it's important. Thank you. Let's call it. We'll talk behind stage.
Now that I know my parents are watching, I just want to thank my parents. I love you, Dad. Wouldn't be here without you guys. Just super grateful of all the things you've given me. And yeah.
Acosta, Matt, family. Over. We're going to say goodbye. And then next week,
we're done
again. I mean, I think
are we still live?
I mean, we can do whatever we want to do.
Are we still live?
At some point, it's going to cut off.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
We're going
to say goodnight. Matt, stay online. After we hang up, you stay there. I'm going to say goodnight to you.
Okay, okay, so I stay here. All right.
Thank you guys for joining us. Awesome time with Matt. Hope you guys got to take away something like I did. It matters. Serving your own way. Be present. Love, love, love. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week, God willing. We got a special guest.